myself, so I'm going to start talking. Um, I'm just going to start with why am I doing game dev? Um, and why I'm making this decision. To take a step back, my name is Chase. Please, make sure to follow me on Twitter and all that stuff down below. But I have been working in esports at a collegiate level, as a coordinator, a coach, things like that. I've built up a few programs. I am now going to be done with esports. And again, that's like a night job. During the day, I do analytics. Um, but I'm pursuing dream jobs after work. But yeah, so why am I doing game dev? Uh, First of all, esports is not that lucrative. So like, I was making like 600 bucks a month working part time after work, and like that's actually pretty decent. For like esports, but like compared to anything else, the amount of time you're putting in, it's like dirt. You're like volunteering. So I just kind of, and I've been doing it for like 2 years, right? So after 2 years, you kind of expect a little bit more than that. Maybe in total, I've earned like $15,000 over 2 years. So that's not that much money. And I feel like if I would have put all that energy into something else, like game dev or whatever, I probably could have made a lot more money than 15 grand. Um, and so I'm switching gears, and I feel like game dev might be a good thing for me. I'm a lifelong gamer. I've been playing World of Warcraft for like 15 years. Um, Shout out to Rob and G Ray and Tom and PJ. Those are my closest friends. Um, we all play well, and but yeah. So I've always loved gaming. I think that game dev has a lot of aspects to it, and it's far from what I've gathered. It's like one of the hardest things you can do, actually, and I think I'm up for that challenge. Why I say that is like, so on my screen here I have, this is Unity, right? And I can, like, I've got a little game set up. This is the game here. This is my little character, my blue guy. But just to give you some, like, you have to make all these boxes, right? You have to code, you have to code like movement, right? So when you move, you have to code that, and you have to code like everything, right? So gravity, you have to code lighting, you have to code like that the camera follows you. You have to code that when there's a wall, you can't walk through it. You have to code that there's actually a wall, and that like, so there's a lot of things that are really complicated. This is C sharp and Visual Studio. Of course, I like purple, as you can see, so I got purple themes everywhere. Um, and so I like that. That's cool. That's challenging to me. That's hard. Um, and this isn't even like a hard language, but still, it's challenging. Um, there's also, with the walls and stuff, you have to design them in like Photoshop or something. I've got like pulled up the little blue character dude here, but you have to make that. I mean, you can buy all these things, but you know, that's maybe not for me right now. I don't have that much money. But so like using art, you have to be artistic, you have to be logical and like good at technology, coding, like you're using software for everything, and all of the software is pretty complex. Like Photoshop is pretty complex, Unity is pretty complex, learning to code is pretty complex. Visual Studio is kind of complex. Um, and then like beyond that, you have marketing, you have the business side of things, which are hard. Like, so you're like basically doing everything. You're like a small business, right? You gotta, do all those things, and that seems really hard for a lot of people. And it's hard for me, but I want that challenge. I thrive on challenges, but it's technically challenging, and it's artistically challenging, and I feel like I have both of those side of my brain, um, that where I can perform at a decent level on all aspects. And so that's exciting to me. I also feel like, at least as an indie dev by myself, it's literally all me. And that may sound a little bit, I don't know, egotistical or maybe like controlling. And maybe I am those things, but um, I like that if this game does really well, it's because of me, right? And I like that. And if it doesn't do well, it's because of me. And either way, like that ownership, that accountability is something that I crave. Um, and to be able to put my own ideas in there or realize that my ideas are really far fetched, like I like those things. Um, so yeah, that's why I'm doing game dev. And I just figured that it would be a good starting point for these devlogs. I'm going to try to record me making my first game every single, like, I'm going to try to, you know, I don't know, at least do devlogs, but I'm streaming right now. Maybe I'll stream everything just for the heck of it. Um, but I really want to, for myself in the future, maybe a year from now, a year or two, to look back at these videos and see that, like, hey, like I did it and I started from nothing. And, you know, like I would love to look back on this and like say, like, holy crap, like I've come really far from this. But yeah, so um, I think I would now just kind of go over what I've done so far just to catch everyone up. I'm going to be creating a 2D kind of platformer game. I'm still fleshing it out. My intent is to have it to create a new genre of not of gameplay, but of visuals. And I want to combine cyberpunk and fantasy somehow. And I think that the idea of having um, spells, but also mechanical things is really cool. I think a good example of this is League of Legends, but League of Legends is steampunk. It's not cyberpunk. I would like to do kind of, but League of Legends has spells too, right? I think I'd like to do kind of like League, but instead of the steampunk, it'd be cyberpunk and fantasy, right? So those two things combined. Um, and then it would be like a side-scrolling, um, you know, I'm thinking like kind of like a dungeon crawler, but it's side-scrolling. So there's monsters that you kill. Most of the gameplay is just killing monsters and then leveling up. I'd like to include some talent trees. Um, and the talent tree may allow you to go, more spell oriented or mechanical oriented. Um, you know, because I think it kind of like hits on this balance of, or like this idea of like kind of like AI and like technology versus humans. I think that's a really interesting conversation. And I think that like, you see it all around. There's people who think that AI will never, become like as good as humans, and then a lot of people think that AI will become better than humans, like superhuman. Um, no, I personally think that you know probably computers will be way better than humans at a lot of things, but it'll never, you'll never be able to create like a soul. That's my opinion, but I think some other people think otherwise. But I like that discussion. I think it's cool. It's interesting. I don't. The game is not. Yeah, I like those conversations. Whether doesn't matter what way you agree, um, or think. But yeah, so those are kind of some underlying themes, some things I'm going for. Obviously, I'm so early. Um, but I have this game on Steam that you can wishlist. I'm going to link it in the below, so you can, and then I'm also going to link the website, and then put in your email in there, and then you'll get updates on everything in the future. So when I make major milestones, I'll send out an email. But you can also follow me on Twitter and all those things. And it would be a great help if you subscribe to the YouTube channel and those things as well. So, anyways, yeah, I am glad that if you took the time to watch this, that I'm glad that you did. Again, I'm just kind of documenting my journey. I think it's gonna be awesome, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.